Well, how on the children to do this year, the zooming in on sustainability, normal broadcast, and things like that. At the Queen Quet, head on the good body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. But guess what? Today, we switch up everything and things like that. We so glad that 100 children tune in this year day. But this year, the virtually Gullah Geechee 2020. Great God, y'all ain't know. I've been up since dead clean and things like that. Oh, I've been a pray, I've been a meditate, all that kind of thing like that. Right up on historics and Telling Island in the Gullah Geechee Nation. Oh, I could have shout all these hours, because great God, I've been so glad that this year did get you. 20 years. 20 years since we've been a cracky teeth right there on Sullivan Island and thing like that. Way up the creek yonder in Chucktown, South Kakalaki. Where then children cheering me up and thing like that. Like couldn't see the snow upon the picture and thing. And then they've been march me through, past the doom, right into the middle and thing like that. Where the drum be did it. Where the modern pestle be did it. Where the cast net be did it. Oh, where all the 100 children be did it. Who be Gullah Geechee? But the first time in the whole of the world and thing like that, the Gullah Geechee family become together. But this year thing called an installment. This year they gone from Call Me Marquetta, Larice Goodwine, to Gwine on, and from that day forward, I the Queen Quet, head upon the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Yeah, 100 children understand what that are called the head of state for the Gullah Geechee Nation. This year been the first time in world history, in we story, that we all come together and elect we own leader. Now, that thing ain't just come from me. And we done yet plenty cracky thing over the 20 years and thing like that we been to do this show work. So this year day, I been first going just come on you and crack my teeth with everybody who would join me in the chat room and all that kind of thing like that. But then the spirit say, no, you know what you do? Bring in the family. What did it? Had a great cloud of witness and thing so they can crack your teeth and let all us children know what we've been to do. And then we even crack it tall. We stand, but we human right, the self-determination, and declare we self a nation. So plenty of 100 children done see we tree and thing like that right there behind me and thing. And that is what we do. We the one set of people like this show. One body from the Igbo, Mandinka, Malinke, Yoruba, Gullah, Geechee, Temni, Mendi, Ifi, Ibibio, Yamasi, Kusabo, Edisto, all of these are the part of we and other rest of children too. Then a Gullah Geechee diaspora de Chona. When you get it, what's Seminole? When you get it and say Afro Seminole, Black Seminole, that we too. If you get it, it's your word, Muskogo, what de yona. So, hola, ¿cómo estás? En Fambul, what de honor? In Mexico. Then, the familia, Hona the Yeddi, still about people who the we, the Gullah Geechee diaspora, going from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, because some left from some place and still move around in there. Then he spread out across the rest of the world. Some of them children, they're down yonder in Bahamas. Some of them children, they're up yonder, Nova Scotia. Some of them children, they're way across yonder, Oklahoma. Some did it in Tejas. Some did it in Mexico. Some of the children, you get it to American, because then they're down yonder, Trinidad Tobago. Well, great God, today, we gladly but share with all 100 children who ain't know. And they say, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. So this year today, for y'all come to we celebration, we party for Gullah Geechee 2020, 20 years of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So this year day, we got the family joining me, and we going have them come on in the room. Sister Kylie there at UMN, holding them down. She gonna bring them in the room so all 100 children see. I want first start off with, we minister information, Elder Carly Town. How 100 to do? Because Elder Carly Town, the one first commission, we Gullah Geechee Nation flag 100 children see back yonder. And if you to follow GullahGeecheeNation.com, go right on there, click, and you'll Yeddi me, the crack my teeth about the flag, but rather was, if you click on the overall blog and thing like that, on the Queen Quet, you'll see a whole thing for we anniversary, but let you know what does your flag mean and thing like that, because it ain't just dry long so that it did ya. And so he had a nephew, Angel, what would draw them up for we. But this banner been a fly even that day, July 2nd, 2000. Before Elder Carly Town Company, I want we all for do a moment of silence for Denmark Vesey, because this year also been the day that they been hang Denmark Vesey. They been trying for kill off him and Gullah Jack them for the uprising in 1822. But we stand for freedom upon that day, and we still to stand this year day too. Let we take a moment of silence for them and all we ancestors went on cross over. But we still to hold on this year freedom day for them. Ashe.
Ashe.
Oh, Ashe. Elder Carly Town, how honor to do?
Honor to do fine, Queen. How are you?
I do well. What going on in the creek? You did in the creek? You did in the creek?
I'm in the creek. I'm in the creek, and I'm sitting here just saying, wow. I'm just thinking about the times that we have spent moving around, telling people about who we are and how I bear witness that you did your job. I bear witness to that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Would you tell the audience, because you know you and I I know we have here Dr. Amir Jamal Teray, who was there on that day as well. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Teray.
Oh.
There we go.
You want me now? Oh, I ain't had no.
I wanted to kind of wave you in because I'm making a statement here that you in Eldertown can definitely speak to. Now, Eldertown, we have heard this over the years. We've read this. I should say read it over the years. That Queen Quet just named herself that. Now, would you tell the folks about how I got to be Queen Quet? What happened with the Who Speak for We petition?
Right. Well, we were tutored under the guidance of Dr. Y.N. Clyde. We knew that Queen Quet was doing the work already. So we went and canvassed the community and asked them, you know, we have Queen Quet, she's doing the work already. Let us try to help her out. Let us find a way that we can help her. So the community decided that, okay, we will make her Queen Quet, chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. She would be the head upon the body, and we would be the arms and the legs. So we had a petition, and we took that petition to the Hebrew Israelites, and we announced it to the community, and they were all in agreement. So we then decided that we would just go out in the streets and ask people how they felt about it, and if they would just sign this petition to let us know that they really wanted to have somebody that's already doing the work, and somebody who's already dedicated to the work, somebody who decided that on their own that they were going to do the work, and we decided that she needed help.
That's deep, Eldertown. So now Eldertown is actually a native of Charleston County, South Carolina. She is from an area called Union Heights. I did not know Eldertown until Dr. Yusuf and Clyde basically became a link between the two of us.
Yes.
I founded an organization called the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition in 1996, and I had a show on television via BCAT in Brooklyn, New York, called Gullah Connection, which is also the name of my histo-musical presentation troupe, trying to educate people because there was a lot of ignorance up north about who we be down here. And so people, there's these funny talking people on the islands, and I saw something about them, and I think, and it was just a lot of nonsense. And then certain fictional films started coming out and getting popularity, and that was messing with the work that needed to be done to get us respected, because a lot of people were under the impression that the word Geechee was almost a cuss word, that the word Geechee that is used all over Charleston and up and down our coast, that was a bad thing. Don't call me that. Like, at one point people didn't want to be called African either. They'd roll up their sleeves and get ready to fight you. So we had to start educating people about how Gullah means people blessed by God. Geechee is also an ethnicity, comes from the Geechee people of the Windward Coast, Rice Coast, just like Gullah comes from there. So there's no disrespect in those names, and that in fact, Gullah was an extraction out of Angola from the first of the Africans that were kidnapped from the motherland and brought over so their knowledge could be exploited. You are talking about blacksmiths, you're talking about scientists, you're talking about healers, you're talking about these individuals being kidnapped from their homeland and then being brought through Sullivan's Island. Y'all remember that now. July 2nd, 2000. Yes, Sullivan's Island, coming through the place that 40% of all Africans enslaved in North America came through, to stand that day, beat our drums, speak out loudly, and then present these petitions that had been signed and ask for confirmation. Dr. Yusuf N. Clive, the International Human Rights Association for American Minorities, was there, but also Dr. Amir Jamal Touré was there in the spirit of their queen, the African spirit. Tell them about that day and about this journey, because I know right after that, Dr. Touré, you wrote a powerful piece that I often refer to called "We Are a Nation." And you were led as a historian to write that why. And why were you there from Georgia? Because you are South Carolina connected from Hilton Head, but you actually came up from Georgia and brought the family from Georgia and brought them into this journey with us. How come Honorable do that?
First, I'm going to say we got to give honor to the Most High and to the ancestors. And because when you told me this was going to happen today, I said I have to come to a special place. So I'm not at home. I'm at the Buccaneer Restaurant right on MLK Junior Boulevard. And guess what? I got me some shrimp. Some shrimp and crab rice. I got shrimp and crab rice.
Where he is from, so you know his mom is a wonderful woman. She did attempt to raise him correctly, but every now and then, you know, we do have to pray for him. So anyway, let us get back on subject.
Okay, because I will be eating, let y'all know, because I want y'all to be jealous, because it's a celebration right now, because the work that has been done going back to 2000. And I had to put this out there and say to folks that this work has been something that we had talked about, Queen Quet, Elder Carly Town, that we put information out there saying that the time is going to come, as I talked with Queen Quet about, well, we're going to have to write the story. 20 years later, we are now writing the story. We're the ones not talking about this right here. We are the ones. We are the appropriate ones to do that, because many, as you all shared, have misunderstandings. That he have not been dedicated to the cause. And that's why I always tell folks, I said, listen, Queen Quet works harder than anyone for Gullah Geechee people throughout the entire area. You might do stuff in your locality, and I'm not taking nothing away from that, what you do in your locality. But when we talk about overall, that's Queen Quet. So that's why mad respect and props. And not only with regard to saying Denmark, BC, July 2nd, but also something happened in Charleston too that people don't understand when somebody knows your story. What happened at Emmanuel AME Church was tied to that time period of Denmark, BC. Here goes somebody who knew your story and wanted to basically give you another stick. With regards to that and turn it with regards to it. But what the Gullah Geechee Nation has done is show African people here, you can determine your own destiny. Kuja Tagalia. That's what it occurred. Kuja Tagalia, self-determination. And then also that collective work. And that's why it was so funny that several months ago, I asked Elder Carly Town, I said, I need to know what happened with regard to the background. She gave it to me. So I'm sitting here saying, yes, it was done. And we brought folks up from Georgia. But if I can just throw a little something out there to show you the magnificence of that moment, when the African Spirit came out, and that was the first time that many people over there in Charleston side saw the African Spirit like that.
True.
And so afterward, and it was the first real conversation I had with Elder Carly Town. She said, brother, those people over there want to know about the Spirit. They want to talk to you. And so I went over to the people, and then she said, yeah, Elder Carly Town introduced me to them. And then they said, the brother and sister and the other sister said to me, they said, yeah, we're from New York. We came down here and they said, so you the Spirit? I was like, yeah, I know the Spirit. And that's when the brother and sister said, you talk about Dr. Crumb. I said, yeah, the Spirit talked about Dr. Crumb. They said, that was our grand uncle.
Wow.
And I looked like, okay. And they said, we just happened to come here. They said that we were told by Marvin Delaney to come here because we wasn't even planning on coming here. And so they said, but then when we were there, they said that we saw some of his papers. And they said, and when we heard that Spirit begin to talk about Dr. Crumb, that's when they said, we knew we were on the right path. And that's why I tell you, that moment for me showed what the Gullah Geechee Nation now represented to African people. It was bringing things together And I'm not just saying just haphazardly. It was symbolic and it was spiritual.
Yes.
It was the ancestors, the Most High. So yes, on that day. Now I have to throw out a little side note. The chains that had Queen Quet, it was the chains for the African spirit. So you know, the spirit ain't got no problem with that. But just to throw back to the seriousness, that moment right there showed me. So here go people just happen to come out there, not even knowing anything, but they heard their own story, their own family story that told them they have to continue that charge. And that's what's been going on for 20 years now. That Elder Carly Town, Elder Lisa Wineglass, Elder Bunny Rodriguez, Representative Brenda Simmons-Jenkins, they have all been continuing that charge. Sister Anita Collins, Reverend Zach Platt, been continuing that charge for some 20 years. And a lot of people can't say that, but y'all have done that. That's why I'm so honored. That's why I had to have a special meal here, some crab rice and some shrimp, because this is a special moment.
Ain't no problem, because you're going to go ahead and cash out that money over to all of us so we can all go out and get meals out.
That's right.
Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. We just let you know you ain't going to be no manners eating on camera and no food to share with everybody, because that's not a Gullah Geechee tradition. Everybody, all we want to eat. And you know that. And I'm going to tell your mom, you're going to get on. So anyhow.
I'm Cubano Americano.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so y'all heard him. So he is no longer native Gullah Geechee. He has relinquished his rights. So all y'all who try to get in the Gullah Geechee Nation, we got an open slot right there, because he just relinquished his rights. So when reparations check come, it will not have a name on their list called Amir Jamal Touré. That is good to know. I'll keep that check for the nation's work to continue. And the work has continued even further south on the coast, because in these 20 years, as Dr. Touré just mentioned, there was such an outpouring of people on that day. I am still meeting people. Over these 20 years, I'm still meeting people who were in the hundreds to thousands of people who were at Sullivan's Island on July 2nd, 2000, who were there beating a drum with us, who were shouting with us. People were speaking in tongues that day. I mean, it was amazing. It is hard to encapsulate all of it, even in an hour-long discussion. But just like that ocean hit the shore and brought the ripples of the past that Dr. Touré talked about that day, and that Dr. Yusuf and Clyde presented that day, and that self-determination energy hit and struck hard, and people were there. It was a big, huge family reunion of native Gullah Geechees from up and down the coast. That was such a blessing. And for me, it was a shock, because here it was that not only were native Gullah Geechees there, people out of the African diaspora were there, Anglo people who supported us standing on our human right to self-determination, and some looky-loos were there, but the media that was there was amazing. There were television trucks. The Vibe magazine was there. The BBC had coverage there. CNN had coverage. Every newspaper on this coast covered it. And they wanted people to know worldwide about this group of descendants of enslaved Africans that now had come into their freedom. And so ever since that time going forward, we have met up with other people of our diaspora, especially those who've been run out Carolina and run out Georgia and make their way down to Florida. And one of those folks I actually met on the porch at Beach Lady, God bless the dead, Marvin Betts. The Beach Lady was one of our inaugural Wisdom Circle Council of Elders members who helped to push the same Who Speak For We petition down in Florida. She talked it up. She got people to come up there to the ceremony. And years later, I met, or sometime later, I should say, I met who is now our representative, one of our representatives in Florida, Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins, who is here. How honored to do, Sister Glenda?
I do fine, Queen. Happy anniversary. How are you today?
Oh, praise God and hallelujah, ain't enough to say. Okay. Get a shout one, yeah. I mean, y'all could have seen me at 12. It must be 12:03. I look at the computer like this. I said, "It's my anniversary!" Yeah. Glad for that. I couldn't even rest. So, you know, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. So, you know, people know me. They've known
right.
address for decades now. I have heard people laugh in meetings. People go, "Will she respond?" Do you see the time on them email posts that you get? Because they're 3 a.m. And that's why I mentioned earlier that Eldertown and I didn't know each other at the time that the Gullah Geechee People Foundation put together the Who Speak for We petition. But that's how she and I met, was by email.
That's right.
Yes, and told me about the show they had, the Gullah Geechee People show, that they were doing this down in Goose Creek in South Carolina, and she was from Charleston, and she and I started a dialogue, and I never forget, similar to how I met you, Sister Glenda, I was actually just going to a festival, went right on over to Johns Island, because I heard they had Sea Island. Once I heard Sea Island, and I heard I had to get there. So I got there and I had my video camera. I'm documenting. They had the Wamala players back then.
Yes.
Jokes and skits, you know, and I'm documenting. And anybody who done met me, y'all know that. If I'm in the middle of something, don't interrupt the queen. What's going on, but I know what's going on, so hold off a minute. So I tried to, so I saw it, I could see in my peripheral vision somebody coming, but you at a festival. So you figure, so what, the person coming, the person could be walking by. So I'm videotaping, and Eldertown got right next to me and started talking. She was like, hey, sister, and I was like, hold on. I had to give him the hold on. So she kind of quickly went like, oh, and then she kind of moved away. So I didn't know whether she got the, oh, like, oh, she caught on that I'm videotaping, or she got the, oh, it's like that. You know, I didn't know her. But as soon as I finished videotaping, and I cut the camera off, I went over, I said, peace, sister. And then that's when she was like, hi, you're a good one, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I'm Colleytown. I was like, no, what? After that, that was finally when we could put the faces, because it was no Facebook, little term.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't no Facebook, okay? It wasn't no Snapchat, okay? It wasn't no Instagram, okay? Just because Hunter Monkey done built in the last 20 years, ain't been that, okay? Back in the 1990s, we ain't been had that. The internet been new in the 80s, okay? How long this journey been. And so, like I've been telling people, I started the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition in 1996, and every single day since it was founded, I wake every day to check email and to get online and to post about Gullah Geechee people and respond to people. So that's how Eldertown and I bonded. That's also how Dr. Teray and I met. He emailed both of us, and that's how we linked. And then I met him because we were all fighting for people. Same thing we fight for now, unfortunately. We were there at a meeting in Savannah, Georgia, because a group of us, and Beach Lady was there, were there to make sure. I had found out a group was being formed about A1A. And many people may not realize Highway 17 runs through the Carolinas, run through Georgia. When y'all get to Florida, y'all gonna be different. So y'all got A1A, right? So it links up. But so here was A1A, and they said they're gonna have a meeting about economic empowerment on A1A. And I was like, hold up now. Who are you economically empowering? Because if anything like that ain't what y'all about to do. Because that sounded like a plan for displacement for Gullah Geechee businesses and homes and, you know, sites and things like that, that would only benefit other folk who would be in that room. Well, when I got in the first room, I was the only one of us in that room. So I started contacting some other people to say, this meeting, the next A1A meeting gonna be in Savannah. We need to be in the room. And Beach Lady was in that room. And then when we went through that meeting that day, they said, well, that evening they were gonna have a reception. And they wanted some people to present. Well, that's when Dr. Teray showed up. And so when he showed up, they asked, would he and I do something, both do something? And I said, well, we both said, he figured out, wait a minute, you're the one I've been emailing at that coalition. But I thought he was in New York. I said, well, I'm a native of St. Helena Party. You know, and he was like, oh, cause see, I thought y'all was a fraud. And I was like, no, we not. And, so now he said, we heard what they'd like us to do. And he said, okay, I can do this. I said, well, then I can come in and do this. I'll leave the song in and then bring you in and then you go from there.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it.
Finished. People thought we knew each other all our lives. They thought and that we had been doing presentations together, but that wasn't the case. But that was the spirit. That was the spirit bringing us all together. So when the spirit brought me to Beach Lady's house, Who comes in that door? Glenda Simmons. What
That's
did
right.
you ask about that day, Mr. Glenda? How did the Spirit lead you in this connection?
Well, first, let me say that as I was waiting to get on Zoom for our celebration, I was thinking these are extraordinary times for
Yes.
an extraordinary queen.
Yes.
And I just think that we are in a time where so many things seem out of order, but there really is order in what appears to be chaos. And
Yes.
so that day when I appeared at Beachley's house, that was ordered by God that I meet you that day.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to me, do you know Queen Quet, Chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation? I said, no. She said, well, baby, you gotta meet her. And she just began to introduce us. And, you know, I was a guest. So, you know, I listened and I learned a little bit. But when we left her house and we went out outside and we stood there on Lewis Street and continued to converse, that is where I shared with you my heart, you know, what God had put on my heart and placed on my heart, that we do a ceremony of healing and restoration on American Beach. And when I realized that what I was saying wasn't foreign to you, I was just so excited because I was like, will somebody understand? Somebody understands this burden I've been carrying in my heart. And so I will always think of that day as the day that so many things turned in my life, because my life's work and my mission really began that day. And it's been going ever since.
That is such a blessing. Now tell me this, you just made a statement that ties back to what Dr. Teray said. You just said there was a burden in your heart. And I know we talked about that burden being connected to identity and how you identify or don't identify as who we be down young, Gullah Geechee.
Yeah.
Just so tell the audience a little bit about that, because I know all of us still meet a lot of people who are part of the Gullah Geechee diaspora who want to reconnect to home, or people who are searching that are part of the greater African diaspora and they're wondering if they're Gullah Geechee. And I know that's kind of where you were that day when we met on American Beach.
Well, the burden was that I was constantly having thoughts and spiritual reflection around the issue of my people and their role here in Nassau County, Florida. And for those of your viewers who don't know, Nassau County, Florida has really, in my opinion, fallen behind in terms of equal representation of Black people in politics, in business, and in other areas. And I was just constantly thinking over, well, what is this? What is this about? What is the reason that we aren't coming up and really fulfilling what we're capable of? And God was talking to me about our history and about the unhealed wounds and the unspoken trauma. And in the midst of hearing what God was saying, there was a documentary that came out in which Beach Lady had actually been featured on PBS. It was aired, and she begins in the documentary speaking about the ancestors who were dropped to the bottom of the ocean. And I immediately connected with that as being a great unfinished spiritual path that needed closure.
Yes.
And so God just began to talk to me about, you know, bring the people together and get them together so that you all can acknowledge those souls, because, you know, funerals and everything are big. That's important to us.
Yeah.
And God was saying to me, we have souls in the ocean who have not been spoken over. Right. That's basically how I heard it in my spirit. Now, the identity part in terms of Gullah Geechee, that came after I met you. And that came as an answer to questions that I had. Because I was like, well, at home, my mother, who's a school teacher, she speaks standard English. But then when she talks to us, she'd be like, child, what you do? Come on over here, girl. I'm like, what is the difference? And nobody could ever explain to me what is the reason that I'm multilingual. And I refused to accept that it was because I don't know how to speak good English, because I speak English.
Yeah,
and what is it about English good compared to this other language that I speak?
Right.
And that was the first hint that I had. There was something else. There was some other piece that was missing. And so when I met you and I began to hear you said to me on the street, on Lewis Street, you Gullah Geechee. And I said, what? I don't think so. Yes, you are. And it took me a little bit, but as I began to piece together the language, the culture in terms of foodways, the culture in terms of just traditions, things that the elders would say and do, then I became convinced. And the songs, in particular the songs, the worship songs and the spirituals. So over time, because I had been in the shoes of someone who didn't understand my full story,
there we go.
then once I had full awareness, I could share it with everyone else. And I could say, you be Gullah Geechee too. And that's the journey we've been on since that day. Is helping people to reconnect and identify and embrace you be Gullah Geechee. If your grandparents and your great grandparents called Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina home, then you can't disconnect your DNA from them. And you Gullah Geechee too. So that has been my journey to identity. It was a journey that also closed that circle where we had to remember the ancestors, and we're still in a process of healing. But when I tell you where we were that day to where we are now, a great chasm has been closed, because we are now at a point where people are embracing and identifying and accepting. You know, the lies that were told to me before, I can put those aside now, because I know the truth and I know who I am, and I be Gullah Geechee. So
thank you.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Teray has been kind of popping in and out, but the thing is, right there is a critical point. Like you said, we are still in the journey of healing.
Yes.
When Dr. Teray spoke out on Gullah observations because of the protest and everything, everybody who follows GullahGeecheeNation.com knows that then I went ahead and wrote a piece about PTSD, the protests, and the pandemic, and how our community as a whole has to heal, because this had been on my spirit. And then here came Dr. Teray tagging me on a video. So once again, we were spiritually aligned, spiritually connected, on the same wavelength as far as what our people need now. And part of that healing is what y'all all have said, telling our own story and telling the truth of that story. And part of the truth is this, and that's why I'm gonna let Dr. Teray jump on it. Part of the truth is the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition came out the gate challenging plantations, challenging the use of that word for gated areas and resort communities. The Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, the Gullah Geechee Nation both came out the gate challenging the end to the exploitation of our name and the mass codification of our people. We spoke to showing our people in their totality, telling our story even from the horrific belly of the beast in the underbelly of what built America, all the way backwards to the richness. That's why they called us Black Gold, to the richness of all the kingdoms that were destroyed to extract the intellectual property, the intellectual richness from the motherland, and then bring it over and exploit it on this coast. But yet and still, people still come down here by the millions in the tourist industry and pay to go in gated areas with the name plantation up there. They go to Revelry Brewing Company and drink beer that has Gullah on it like we some kind of mascot, like alcohol is a blessing or something. No, it's a curse to our community. The same way the Native Americans were given different things to try to weaken their community. How dare you put our name on something like that? Then Gullah Gourmet, the Geechee Girl Tours Company down in Charleston. Now, one person finally stood up, Geechee boy, Eddie Stowe.
Yes, he did.
and said, we've met him, I've met him, we've talked. He finally stood up, him and his wife, and said, we do not want to bring harm to people. But why did they do it? It's because of all of what you have mentioned, Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins, that this is a time that looks chaotic, but it's actually a time where things are coming together. It is the due time, it is the due season for people to stop exploiting Black people in any sort of way. It is time to stop this mascotification and exoticism of, oh, there's this funny group of people and they do this stuff, but they do storytelling. They're good entertainers. They're very colorful. They cook good food, and then that's it. We're still somewhere on a rice plantation, still on a porch, stirring some pot with that, or hauling just a basket down the road. No, there's a whole lot more intellect to us, and there's a whole lot more power to us, just as there was to our ancestors when there were real plantations, not these gated areas. And I know on Juneteenth, that caused a lot of Black folk to finally start paying attention to the stories that all of us have been telling for decades. Yes. Okay, all of the work that's been done for decades, this is the moment that people are paying attention to it, as you all have mentioned. Dr. Teray, I know it was you. On Juneteenth, you went back home to your roots on Hilton Head, and you spoke about that word plantation, and now there's a petition that we've helped push. When you were on this broadcast before, you said there were 5,000 signatures. We have almost 7,500 signatures on there. I told you as soon as we got the air, we were going to push that plantation, stopping the plantation name on those gated areas in Hilton Head that petition hard, and we have. And we are trying to get people to get that joker past that 7,500 today on our anniversary. And we have another petition to stop destruction men at Bay Point, because all they want to do is make an exclusive plantation out of Bay Point next to me on St. Helena. We, in 1 week, had 1,800 signatures on it when they first announced it last year. We have 19,000 plus right now, and we expect by midnight to have 20,000 people standing with us against that. Because again, people come here and then put up gates, block the natives out. Well, first, let's say it this way. Displace the natives from the land, put up the gate, build a resort, then want the people to come back in there and play certain roles. Cooks, house cleaners, storytellers, entertainers, and the money goes back out. Again, the plantation structure is the same. Somebody else benefits economically off of our bodies, off of our work. So Dr. Teray, when you went to Hilton Head for Juneteenth, that was a shock in and of itself. What did you talk about that made people now, or even the Washington Post, contact you about that word plantation, as long as it has been on all those gated areas and golf courses over there on Hilton Head?
And actually, Queen, it began with regards to the moments that they were doing with regards to George Floyd, what they had been doing in Bluffton, what they had been doing in Savannah, what they had been doing across the country. So in Hilton Head, and again, like something I had shared with folks, I said that my family, I'm saying my family, my cousins, that it's been put in our gene, every single gene that's comprised who we are, it has given us, they have given us the spirit to fight, the spirit to lead, the spirit to speak out. So when my cousins say, hey, we want you to come, we want you to speak, and my cousin Galen Miller, when it said straight up, he said, give it to him, don't hold back. So when he said that, I was like, okay. I was like, bam.
Never let you loose. Oh, he never let you loose.
So,
he let the mule go
and that's why I said, so what I'm gonna hit him with right now, because somebody said something lightly about it, I'm gonna take it even deeper. I said it is disrespectful for people to live on plantations. And that's for African people, Caucasians, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans that live on plantations, those gated communities. That's an insult, because that's like saying that you're not gonna live on a concentration camp. Like, you for concentration camp, you ain't gonna do that. But my people, they dismiss us with regards to who we are, our humanity. I'm like, we have been put here. All my cousins, all my family members, like you all, we've been put here. The very genes in us, in the fibers, who we are, we've been put here to be a voice for our ancestors.
Yes.
So it does them no good. It does you no good not to speak up for your ancestors.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So he decided that they now wanted to say, we need to seize the opportunity. But something I threw out there too, Queen, was that the people who live in those communities, in those gated communities, they make laws that affect Gullah Geechee people outside the gated communities.
You sure did say that.
I'm like, wait a minute. So y'all make the laws that impact us, and just like you alluded to, that here it is, they were in those communities, they live in there, and they bring us in there to be servants for them, but they still enact laws that impact us that don't even impact them.
Yes.
And guess what? And you got Black folks who go live right there. Caucasians live right there. And nobody thinking about that. I tell folks, no one who lives in this area right now will be here if it was not for our ancestors. So you got to pay respect to them. So, that's what that was about that, as we say, being a voice for them, because none of them would tell us that we need to live on plantations.
There you go.
So we're trying to get away from the plantation. What the hell y'all gonna live on a plantation for?
Right, right. Because you can't be self-determined people and then be dependents. You have to be self-determined, independent, which is, again, why we came together 20 years ago on this day, to stand on our human right to self-determination. If y'all want to learn more, go to GullahGeecheeNation.com. You can follow at Gullah Geechee on Twitter, at Gullah Geechee on Instagram. The petition I mentioned, and petitions, we have 3 actually, because we also have stopping the mass scottification and exploitation petition as well. That one was nearing 400 before this broadcast. We would like to have that at 2,000 by the end of the night, okay? So if you can go ahead and tweet and follow, we appreciate that, because this is a critical time. It is time that while people are paying attention, especially people throughout the African diaspora, much less the Gullah Geechee diaspora, for you to realize that the iron is hot, so it's time to strike. The iron is hot, it's time to strike. All of these things that we have endured, all this pain that needs to be healed, it cannot be healed if people continue to psychologically abuse us with using words and imagery that is unacceptable. It never was acceptable. You see that people are removing different names, even Eskimo pie now. They are going to change that name. They're not going to use it. So if they're going to change it, Reverend Bear need to change theirs. Yes, Geechee Boy Mills, we applaud you for stepping forward and leading the way in Charleston County to say the rest of you need to follow suit. Stop exploiting the people of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Elder Carleytown, you are native of Charleston, so I know you've endured living and walking and everything. 1 minute you on Chalmers Street, where the old slave mart at, and the cobblestone that were balanced from the ships on, you walk over that energy. The next minute you walk down by the harbor where the mosquito fleet always was, and you can look out and you breathe in for a minute. Then you walk up the block, you get to Emmanuel and Me, where we used to do libations in honor of Gullah Jack and Denmark Vesey, but now we have to do them in honor of the loss of the Emmanuel Nine and Pastor Clementa Pinckney, who was a representative that fought for land here. And then we got Walter Scott that was killed there. We have these constant, then we had John C. Calhoun still riding high till the other day. But people didn't want Denmark Vesey statue in that same place, so it's over in Hampton Park. So I know for you, you've been a part of many movements over the years in Charleston, where it was the #1 enslavement auction block in North America, but here you were, and the human rights movement. It's time for our self-determination. How Hannah go I do such a thing and Hannah did from Chuck Down and thing like that? What spirit led Hannah for do that? For speak out in a town where, and in a county where a lot of people say, don't say that. And they turn their eyes down. What led you to do that?
Well, Queen, I got to give honor to God. God was the one that guided me. And it was innate for me to see injustices. I was born to see injustices. And when I saw them, I said, I just can't talk about it. I got to do something about it. So that's what really led me, and also my ancestors. And, you know, that's another thing. I didn't know it was my ancestors leading me. But I found out that it had to be some spirit greater than me that was leading me, because usually, you know, most of the time I was really shy. But for some reason, God said, this is your time. You have got to do this. And I saw when nobody else was doing what needed to be done. Yeah, we have a lot of churches, but we didn't focus on culture. It was like it wasn't there. I went to the mayor and I said, why isn't there something here about Gullah Geechee? And he said, well, I will fix that. That was Mayor Riley at the time. Well, they're still fixing it. And I'm quite sure it's going to get fixed, because if it's up to us, God, the ancestors will give us the power to heal our people and to let them continue to see who they really are, that they are anointed people. And pray that we continue to take these journeys on and on to different diasporas so that we can finish reconnected, because there's power and unity.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And it's so powerful. And we thank everybody who's been unified with us. We want y'all to continue, follow Gullah Geechee Nation's Facebook fan page. Please continue to donate. The Cash App, many people said, well, oh, GoFundMe. I saw the Gullah Geechee Land Legacy Fund link, but it's just GoFundMe. I'd rather give on Cash App. You can give through Cash App, $ Gullah Geechee Nation. Gullah is spelled Gullah. Geechee is spelled Geeechee. Ain't no I in Geechee if it a we. Okay. Gullah Geechee Nation on Cash App, Gullah Geechee Nation Facebook fan page, GullahGeecheeNation.com. If you follow there, you'll see we'll be posting. You'll have all the connections to the Gullah Geechee Angel Network, which is our official 501c3 for the Gullah Geechee Nation. We'll be posting more about the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Committee of Northeast Florida, of which Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins is a part. We'll be posting more about DayCleanSoul.com, which Dr. Amir Jamal Teray is the proprietor and director of. And he's also an active part of Geechee Kunda, which is our compound there in coastal Georgia. Elder Town is currently working on the Yenaturin House right there in the Hike, where be there from and thing like that there. Sister Glenda is still working at her family compound there in Nassau County in Yulee, Florida. And I write you with the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition when Rona finished run.
Yes.
We let her chill and come back for seaweed and thing like that, fierce to fierce like this year. But mark down Saturday, July the 25th. Many of you had already gotten your passes. You were ready. You were coming for Gullah Geechee Family Weekend on the Georgia coast at Jekyll Island, where the last recorded enslavement vessel, they say, came into North America, called the Wanderer. We were going back there to pay tribute to our ancestors there. As you heard us throughout this broadcast, we honor God first. We honor our ancestors. We respect our elders, and we honor who we be and things like that. And so we were going there in person, but we're going to instead move the Gullah Geechee Nation International Music and Movement Festival back a Saturday to Saturday, July 25th from noon to 2. We are going to be broadcasting over a growing culture on YouTube and over our Facebook pages that I've mentioned. So if you follow us, you'll be able to connect live, but we'll also rerun that broadcast all that week, because from July 25th to August 1st, 2020 is Gullah Geechee Nation Appreciation Week. That's not new. We've been celebrating this since 2012 in the city of Charleston, and then everybody else, all the other towns and all the other counties up and down the coastline of the Gullah Geechee Nation, which goes from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, joined in with us, with the exclusion of a couple counties in North Carolina and Horry County, South Carolina, where Myrtle Beach is located. They have never participated. They've never justified their lack of participation in Horry County. So y'all need to be aware of that. We don't know why they've never supported our self-determination, because every other county has. And so we continue to stand with all of them and thank all of them for being a part of this celebration. And y'all continue to follow, and y'all see the videos and the proclamations and everything that are posted, because we ain't just to celebrate the day. We're going to celebrate from now all the way through to the end of July. That's how we to do, because this week 20th year. So some 100 children do that thing just because your birthday come every year. Who you think but we? And we got the birthday of the Gullah Geechee Nation 20 years old. It grown now. It grown. So we gonna celebrate and things like that for true. And that's how we do. So definitely, if you want to know how you can support us, how you can give to our Land Legacy Fund that helps us fight the legal cases we have to fight. If you want to find out where all these petitions we're talking about are and get the proper links, then all you have to do is go to GullahGeecheeNation.com and click on the blog under Queen Quet that says 20 ways in 20 days for support the Gullah Geechee. Okay, there are 20 things on there that we'd like you to undertake over the next 20 days, whatever day you listen to this on. If you didn't listen live and you listen later, that's fine. You still got 20 days from when you hear this, when you're gonna hear this year, for going forward and help stand with me for the next 20 years. And you can do that by signing those petitions, by supporting the businesses listed on there, by making donations to the charities that are on there, because we have institutions and nonprofit organizations that we want to still see be viable when this pandemic ends. And the Gullah Geechee Nation ain't going nowhere. We done tell on the children. We done been here and we ain't going nowhere at all, okay? And so definitely the 20 years is hard to sum up with all of us in about an hour's worth of time, but we have just a couple minutes left. And I'd just like to go back to Sister Glenda. Any closing words of love for the family or inspiration for the family that deal with we and things like that, especially them children who be Gullah Geechee and might be still looking for your identity?
Well, I just want to, before I forget, I want to acknowledge Representative William Jefferson, whose family really pioneered, in my opinion, Gullah Geechee, not preservation, but sustainability by having Little Mount Olive restored and placed on the National Register. I want to mention him and his family, the Hoopers and the Akins family. And I want to say to all of the family here in Florida and extended that the truth about who we are, you don't have to look far. Your heart will know authenticity. Your heart will know the truth of those who acknowledge God, as you said. We can't get away from God as being a core and a center to who we are as a people. We don't dictate to people how they worship God or what particular tradition they observe, but it is just a part of who we are as people, that we know there is a creator, there is a creator God, and he is one who gives us power and strength. He's the one who's allowed us to be here today because our ancestors were able to be here and to live through everything that they lived through, and they allowed us to be here. So I would encourage anyone who comes back over this video, who hears about Gullah Geechee culture and heritage throughout the coming days or weeks or months or years, to look for the truth, seek out information that is credible and valid, and be about the business of knowing the whole story. Here in Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, Nassau County, our journey over the course of the last 18 years has been to give people a message that is truthful, that is authentic, and that is credible. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to follow your lead, Queen. And I salute you, and I wish you beyond 20 more years. And I submit to you humbly in your capacity as Queen Mother and Head of State, and I am just grateful to you for your leadership over this 2 decades. And I wish you love and so much more in the coming days and months.
Thank you, thank you. And I just want y'all to know that is not the Wakanda salute. They actually took it from that has always been the proper protocol of greeting, and they took it in the movie. So know the whole story. All right. And I want to go to someone else who has been there fighting for the whole story right alongside of me. Dr. Teray and I served on the inaugural Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Commission along with Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins, and we were expert commissioners on that commission. I was the general management plan chairperson for that commission. I worked 9 years of my life with Congressman James Clyburn to get the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Act passed. So a lot of people don't know the whole story. So since we're talking about knowing the whole story, I just wanted to add that in there, that when you talk about credible things, trust me, the people you the Yeddi Panya and things like that, they can tell Hunter the truth. And we know that the chronology will show you that all of what we're talking about, we've been doing, we were doing before there was a corridor.
Yes.
We live in a nation. The corridor runs through the nation. So Dr. Teray, he and I often say, we ain't new to this. We true to this. So Dr. Teray, what are your closing words today?
I want to go back in time on something, and I had come back to Savannah, had just flown in. I can't remember if it was from Haiti or from Miami. Flew back in, and Elder Carly Town and yourself, Queen Quet, there was an event in Charleston. So I got back in town and then immediately had to drive up to Charleston. And something happened. You talk about commodification, Queen, and the mascotting of Gullah Geechee culture. And I took something for granted. And I realized not to take things for granted because y'all introduced me to a brother who had Charleston Blue. And I figured at that time, I said, I'll be back in Charleston and I'll be having me some bottles of Charleston Blue.
Right.
And when I came back to Charleston, there was no Charleston Blue.
Right.
So here it is, a brother who's bottling water. This is the early 2000s that this is happening. And then we don't have that brother, but we have all these other businesses with our names that are not tied to us. For me, that's a moment in time for me to go and say, we cannot take it for granted. And those of us who are doing things, we need to support us and support the people who are not pimping our culture. So when you talk about that, that's why I always reflect back to that. And like I said, came back in town, came back into the country, and then bam, had to go up to Charleston, and then thought I'd see that brother again. He doesn't have the business, but he got those other businesses. And finally, I'm going to say that I remember also that the Constitution for the Gullah Geechee Nation was formed here in Savannah, Chatham County.
Savannah.
Right here. That's why I said, and I let people understand. I say, when we talk about it right here, ain't no jealousy. I said, we need to understand, have a sense of pride right here and say, the nation's constitution was formed right here.
Yes,
a sense of pride, as opposed to having that envy and all that other madness. Get that out and understand that you're connected to this. And then finally, I'll say this, the best month to ever be created in the world is July. July 2nd, even the Gullah Geechee Nation was born in July. I'm just saying, and the capital of the Gullah Geechee Nation is Savannah, Georgia, and the official resort is Hilton Head Island. I'm saying, Representative Glenda, stay out of this right now. Stay out of this right now. I love American Beach, but stay out of this right now. So,
Brother Jamal, I don't have anything to say.
You see, he's trying to put us on the plantation.
I'll say the capital of the nation is Savannah. The official resort is Hilton Head.
Here we go. Yeah, the plantations. Right.
Even though you left me in the United States, when you left me in the United States, y'all went to Brazil, y'all left me. I ain't gonna say nothing. Back in the 90s.
Dr. Teray telling the storytelling. See, that's why he get paid storyteller. Y'all see that? See that word story, the lion in Gullah. Y'all know that, ain't it? Okay then. So y'all know we're in the top of that Brazil. Okay. So now, Elder Carly Town, I definitely wanted to come on back to you the way we started out. What's your closing words for the people?
Well, I would like to thank everybody for the support that we have gotten in Charleston, all through the nation. But I also want to really thank Queen Quet, and I'm honored to be working with you. I'm working side by side with you. It's been a great journey, and the journey continues. And I want my people to know that we are very, very much God's people, because we went through so much and we're still here. So keep holding on. Hold on, people. Hold on.
Yes. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. everything. Why be alright? Honor children, fight on. Just a little while longer. Fight on. Just a little while longer. Fight on. Just a little while longer. Everything. Why be alright? Praise God, this your day. Thank you to all 100 children. What a stand with we right, self-determination. We still a fight for we human rights. We still a fight for civil rights. We still a fight for land rights and water rights. But guess what? Somebody going to win the fight. And we know if God be for us, who can be against us? We be Gullah Geechee anointed people. So we be our people. And we black gold anointed children. For day such as this year. Oh, it took 20 years. Forget you right now.
Yes.
Oh, we got 20 more road for good.
Yes.
That way, we gonna have shouting time. Right here, and that great getting up morning. Jubilee day, one more again. Right up on this your course of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So it's so glad for all 100 children who taught them not robbery, but celebrate with we. Hashtag Gullah Geechee 2020. Thank you, Elder Town. Thank you, Dr. Teray. Thank you, Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins. And we want to give honor to Halim Gullah Beamy, Dr. Yusuf N. Clyde, Ernestine Tobias Felder, the Beach Lady.
Yes.
All of them have crossed over. Reverend Willis T. Goodwin crossed over doing this work. And so we pray that they are with God right now, resting peacefully. But something tell me they out right now. They up there shouting with me right now. They fought for this day to be here now.
Yes.
So thank you for all the love, all the blessings. People have my Facebook page and my Twitter feed, running long. It'll take me probably the rest of the day to respond back and forth to people that are just saying congratulations and happy anniversary. But thank you. This wouldn't be anything without all of you. I have so much love for all of you and all the other
Queen.
elders, members, and all the other representatives of the Gullah Geechee Nation who couldn't get them all on the screen today because we ain't Oprah, because we would have had a show like hers with 100 screens up there. But they're with us. Their spirits are here with us, even though they're not logged online. And truly, the inaugural group of the Wisdom Circle Council of Elders, y'all out of this world. Elder Lisa Wineglass Smalls.
Yes.
They love you. The Campbell sisters, as we call them, but it's actually Miss Rebecca Campbell and Miss Catherine Braxton. We love you. And we love y'all for continuing to be there to help guide this process and to learn the lead chiller, but who they be. Because we be Gullah Geechee, anointed people. So peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you for Create Fellowship at the University of Minnesota. We appreciate you for governing this. Everybody that's in the room, in the chat room, we so happy to have Dr. Malaika. Oh, you made it from Cali. That one of we Gullah Geechee gals for true. And Leslie Joe, thank you for the happy anniversary message. And Nicola Davis Bivens, thank you for Hunter. You said thank you for the knowledge, but thank you for Hunter for being right here with we for this celebration of who we be. Hashtag Gullah Geechee 2020. Stay tuned at Gullah Geechee on Twitter, at Gullah Geechee on Instagram, Gullah Geechee Nation on Facebook, and GullahGeecheeNation.com, and you'll see all the rest of the celebration in the Gullah Geechee Nation. But remember, take that challenge, 20 ways in 20 days for support. Who we be? The Gullah Geechee. Peace and blessings, everybody. Stay strong, stay healthy, and keep up the fight.
Who side you leaning on?
Leaning on the Lord's side.